At the remarkable age of 92, the legendary Willie Nelson has finally chosen to share his thoughts about fellow musician John Denver, breaking years of silence on a topic that has long fascinated fans of both artists. Willie Hugh Nelson entered this world on April 29, 1933, in the small town of Abbott, Texas. When his parents separated and departed in search of employment opportunities during the challenging Great Depression era, young Willie found himself under the loving care of his grandparents. These musical souls recognized and nurtured his budding talent, presenting him with his very first guitar when he reached just 6 years of age. By 7, he had already composed his inaugural song, and remarkably, by 9 years old, he was taking the stage at local dance venues and honky-tonk establishments alongside his sister Bobby, who provided piano accompaniment. This sibling musical partnership would endure throughout their entire lives. During his early adult years, Nelson took on an impressive variety of occupations while pursuing his musical aspirations in the intensely competitive country music landscape. He worked as a radio disc jockey, sold vacuum cleaners door to door, tried his hand at farming, and even sold religious books, all while chasing his artistic dreams. The 1950s proved to be a decade of struggle as he moved between cities including Fort Worth, Portland, and Nashville, never losing sight of his ultimate goal. Initially, his distinctive vocal style and unconventional phrasing were considered incompatible with Nashville's polished sound standards. However, his persistence paid off as his songwriting abilities began opening important doors. Compositions such as Crazy, which gained tremendous fame through Patsy Cline's rendition, along with Nightlife and Funny How Time Slips Away, demonstrated his poetic sensibilities and established his reputation as a masterful lyricist. The 1970s witnessed the dawn of Willie Nelson's ascension to superstardom. Growing increasingly frustrated with the restrictive nature of Nashville's recording industry, he made the pivotal decision to return to Texas and became a founding figure in the outlaw country movement. This rebellious approach rejected the slick commercial production methods of mainstream country music, instead embracing a raw, deeply personal, and defiant style. His groundbreaking albums during this period included Shotgun Willie in 1973, Red-Headed Stranger in 1975, and Stardust in 1978, which cemented his position as both a musical innovator and cultural rebel. The remarkable success of Red-Headed Stranger, particularly featuring the haunting ballad Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, demonstrated that genuine authenticity and compelling storytelling could still achieve massive commercial success while touching hearts across multiple generations. Willie Nelson's distinctive appearance became as legendary as his music. His characteristic long braided hair, ever-present bandana, weathered facial features, and his beloved guitar named Trigger became symbols of his determination and unique style. However, the true essence lay in the man himself. Nelson embodied the spirit of a free-spirited, compassionate rebel who wasn't afraid to voice his opinions on controversial subjects. Throughout his career, he has been a dedicated advocate for farmers' rights, marijuana legalization, animal welfare, and environmental sustainability. In 1985, he joined forces with Neil Young and John Mellencamp to establish Farm Aid, a benefit concert series that continues generating millions of dollars for struggling American farmers to this day. His collaborative nature has become the stuff of legend. Over the decades, Willie Nelson has recorded with an astounding array of artists spanning multiple genres, from Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, and Johnny Cash to Ray Charles, Dolly Parton, Sheryl Crow, Snoop Dogg, and Norah Jones. His supergroup, The Highwaymen, featuring Jennings, Cash, and Chris Christopherson, became a shining example of musical camaraderie and excellence. His remarkable ability to transcend genre limitations while maintaining his core identity serves as testament to his universal appeal. Despite facing significant personal challenges, including financial difficulties, multiple failed marriages, and legal disputes with the IRS, Nelson remained unbroken. He never ceased recording, touring, or advocating for his beliefs. Even well into his 80s and 90s, he continued releasing new music, publishing memoirs, and maintaining live performances with a work ethic that seemingly defies the constraints of age. His voice, though weathered by time, remains instantly recognizable, as does his philosophical and soulful approach to both music and life. Willie Nelson transcends the simple definition of a country music star. He represents a national treasure, a poet, a storyteller, and a symbol of unwavering resilience. His contributions to music and society cannot be measured. With a discography encompassing over 100 albums and a legacy that has influenced countless artists, he has earned every honor from Grammy Awards to Kennedy Center recognition and induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Beyond these accolades, he has earned the enduring love and respect of fans worldwide. Even after celebrating his 85th birthday, Willie Nelson continued defying expectations and pushing boundaries regarding what it means to be an active musician at an advanced age. His energy, creativity, and passion for music have remained remarkably vibrant, serving as inspiration to younger generations of both artists and fans. In 2014, just before his 81st birthday, Nelson released a critically acclaimed studio album titled Band of Brothers. This record represented a significant milestone in his career, not only due to his advanced age, but also because it marked his first album in several years to feature primarily new original material penned by Nelson himself. The album presented a blend of classic country sounds with his distinctive lyrical depth and storytelling abilities, earning praise for its raw honesty and mature reflection. It resonated powerfully with both longtime fans and critics who hailed it as a triumphant return to form for the legendary singer-songwriter. Even more remarkably, Band of Brothers debuted at the top position on the Billboard Top Country Albums chart, confirming his continued relevance and popularity in the ever-evolving world of country music. The album's success proved that age had done nothing to diminish Nelson's talent or his ability to connect with audiences through his signature voice and soulful guitar performance. Beyond his musical achievements, Willie Nelson has also made an indelible impact in the realms of film and television. Over the years, he has transitioned seamlessly from recording studios to movie sets, earning recognition as a charismatic and natural screen presence. He has taken on a diverse range of film roles that showcase not only his musical legacy, but also his unique charm and wit. One of his most memorable performances came in the 1979 film The Electric Horseman, where he starred alongside Robert Redford and Jane Fonda. Nelson played a supporting role that perfectly blended humor and heart, while also contributing to the film's soundtrack, further intertwining his musical and cinematic talents. In the 1996 family film Starlight, Nelson charmed audiences with a warm, grandfatherly character that highlighted his gentle demeanor and made him a beloved figure across generations. His natural comedic timing and relaxed personality also made him an ideal choice for roles in light-hearted films and comedies. In The Dukes of Hazzard from 2005, a film adaptation of the classic television series, Nelson portrayed Uncle Jesse, a role that allowed him to bring his authentic Texas persona and trademark wit to the big screen. He also made a memorable appearance in Blonde Ambition from 2007, a romantic comedy starring Jessica Simpson, where he played a character that added authenticity and southern flavor to the story. His ability to laugh at himself was further displayed in the satirical fashion comedy Zoolander 2 in 2016, where he made a cameo appearance that delighted audiences and emphasized his enduring cultural relevance. These film roles have helped establish Willie Nelson as not just a music legend, but also a beloved pop culture icon with rare cross-generational appeal. His continued activity in both the music and film industries well into his 80s stands as testament to his enduring passion, resilience, and artistic spirit, a legacy that few can match. Willie Nelson, the iconic American country music legend whose career has spanned over 6 decades, has led a deeply colorful and eventful personal life, particularly concerning his relationships and family. Over the years, he has been married 4 times, with each marriage representing a different chapter in his life and reflecting the trials, transitions, and evolving perspectives that paralleled his musical journey. His first marriage was to Martha Matthews in 1952. This union, although lasting a full decade, was filled with turbulence. Nelson has been candid in his memoirs about the rocky nature of the relationship, fueled by his drinking and the instability of his early music career. Together, Willie and Martha had 3 children, Lana, Susie, and Billie Hugh Nelson Jr. Tragically, their son Billy would later take his own life in 1991, a heartbreaking moment in Willie's life that deeply affected him and which he has reflected on with pain and honesty over the years. Following the dissolution of his first marriage, Willie wed singer Shirley Colley in 1963. 1963. Their relationship began as a creative partnership, as Shirley was a country singer herself and collaborated with Nelson on music during the early 1960s. However, the marriage ended in 1971 after Shirley discovered that Willie had secretly fathered a child with another woman, Connie Kupka, during their marriage. This revelation led to the end of their union and set the stage for his next relationship. Connie Kupke, the mother of Willie's daughter Paula Carleen Nelson, became his third wife shortly thereafter. They married in 1971 and later had another daughter, Amy Lee Nelson. Connie stood by Nelson during some of his most challenging years in the music industry and throughout his battles with the IRS and substance-related issues. Despite their shared history and the birth of two daughters, the marriage ultimately came to an end in 1988. Later that same year, Willie Nelson married Annie D'Angelo, a makeup artist he had met during the filming of the 1986 movie Stagecoach, in which he starred alongside Chris Christopherson and Johnny Cash. Annie brought a sense of balance and calm to Willie's often chaotic world. She has often been described as a grounding presence in his life, helping him adopt a healthier lifestyle, including reducing his consumption of alcohol and meat. Together they have two sons, Lucas Autry Nelson, who has followed in his father's musical footsteps and achieved acclaim as the frontman of Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real, and Micah Nelson, an artist and musician in his own right, known for his eclectic and experimental style. Annie and Willie have remained together for over 3 decades, marking his longest-lasting marriage and symbolizing a deep, enduring companionship that has grown stronger with time. In recent years, Willie and Annie have made their home on the Hawaiian island of Maui, where they live in relative seclusion, surrounded by lush tropical scenery, close friends, and family. Their home serves as a peaceful retreat from the demands of fame and touring. It's not just a place of rest, but a symbol of the tranquility he has found in the later years of his life. All told, Willie Nelson has fathered 7 children across these relationships, each representing a unique aspect of his life's tapestry. Despite the ups and downs, the personal losses, and the hard-earned lessons, Nelson has remained deeply devoted to his family, often drawing inspiration from them for his music. His family members, particularly his children, have played crucial roles in his personal and professional life, and many have continued his legacy of creativity and artistic expression. Now well into his 90s, legendary country icon Willie Nelson has lived a life as rich and complex as the American landscape he so often sings about. From outlaw country to gospel and blues, Nelson's career has spanned over 7 decades, and he has crossed paths with some of the most influential figures in music history. Yet, among the constellation of names that have filled his life story, one name that fans have long speculated about, but which Nelson has rarely commented on publicly, is that of fellow singer-songwriter and beloved American folk icon, John Denver. Now, in a rare and heartfelt moment of vulnerability and candor, Willie Nelson, at 92 years old, has finally opened up about his memories, impressions, and lasting thoughts on the late Denver, providing a touching and revealing look at a friendship the public never fully saw. For years, many fans wondered how Nelson truly felt about Denver. The two artists occupied different yet intersecting corners of American music. Denver, with his clear voice and nature-driven ballads, was seen as a symbol of clean-cut, heartfelt optimism in the 1970s, while Nelson, braided, unfiltered, and deeply rooted in the rougher textures of outlaw country, represented a more rebellious spirit. Despite those surface contrasts, Willie now reveals that he held deep admiration for John Denver's musical sincerity, lyrical craftsmanship, and unwavering commitment to environmental causes. Nelson describes Denver as a soul that sang from the mountains and meant every word of it. Willie goes on to share that although they didn't tour together or collaborate as frequently as some might assume, there was always mutual respect and kinship between them. They often crossed paths at charity concerts and televised specials, especially those in the late 1970s and early 1980s, when both men were advocating for causes that resonated with them, Denver for conservation and wildlife, and Nelson for family farmers and rural communities. Willie now reveals that backstage at one of those events, the two had an in-depth conversation about the pressures of fame and staying authentic in a world of industry expectations. John told him he just wanted to write what he felt felt and sing it honestly, no matter what New York or Los Angeles thought. Nelson recalls that this hit him deeply, and he respected that approach. Nelson also confesses that he was deeply affected by Denver's tragic death in 1997 when the singer perished in a plane crash off the coast of California. At the time, Willie remained publicly silent, but in private he admits he mourned the loss of one of America's gentlest voices. Now reflecting on the decades since, he shares that Denver's music still moves him, especially songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads, and Sunshine on My Shoulders. Willie says you can feel the love in those songs. They were never just hits, but were gifts. In his remarks, Nelson also touches on what he sees as Denver's misunderstood legacy. He notes that while John was sometimes dismissed by critics for being too soft or sentimental, the reality was that Denver's strength lay in his sincerity and courage to stay true to his heart. In this business, people try to mold you into something you're not, but John never let that happen, Willie says, adding that takes guts, quiet guts. Willie Nelson, who has spent his own life challenging musical norms and standing firm for the causes he believes in, perhaps sees a bit of himself in Denver's journey. He reflects that had Denver lived longer, they might have eventually recorded together, perhaps a gentle duet, blending their distinct voices in tribute to the land they both loved. They were both country boys at heart, Nelson says with a wistful smile. Different roads, maybe, but the same horizon. In Speaking Up Now, Willie not only pays tribute to a lost friend, but also offers a lesson in appreciation and reconciliation. At 92, with a long life of stories behind him, he reminds us that honoring the people who crossed our path, whether for a moment or a lifetime, is part of what gives meaning to the music and the man behind it. And so, with the sun setting slowly on a remarkable career, Willie Nelson's reflections on John Denver feel like a song in themselves, tender, raw, and full of truth. A song that was perhaps decades in the making, but was always waiting to be sung. The depth of Willie Nelson's artistic journey becomes even more fascinating when examining the various influences that shaped his unique sound and perspective. Growing up during the Great Depression instilled in him a profound understanding of hardship and resilience that would later permeate his music. His grandparents, who raised him, were not merely caregivers, but were instrumental in nurturing his musical sensibilities. They exposed him to a wide variety of musical styles, from traditional country and western to gospel hymns that echoed through small-town Texas churches on Sunday mornings. The formative years of performing in local dance halls and honky-tonks provided Nelson with an education that no formal music school could have offered. These venues were rough-and-tumble establishments where authenticity mattered more than polish, and where a young performer had to earn respect through genuine talent rather than manufactured appeal. The experience taught him to connect with audiences on a visceral level, understanding that music's true power lay not in technical perfection, but in its ability to convey raw human emotion and experience. Nelson's struggles throughout the 1950s were not merely professional setbacks, but crucial character-building experiences that would inform his later artistic choices. The various odd jobs he undertook while pursuing his musical dreams provided him with a deep understanding of working-class America. Whether selling vacuum cleaners door to door or working farm fields, these experiences gave him insights into the lives of ordinary people that would later fuel his most compelling songwriting. This grassroots perspective would become one of his greatest strengths as an artist, allowing him to speak authentically to audiences who recognize their own struggles and aspirations in his music. The transition from struggling songwriter to established performer was not merely a career advancement, but represented a fundamental shift in how Nelson viewed his role as an artist. His move away from Nashville's constraints was more than a geographical relocation. It was a philosophical statement about artistic integrity and the importance of maintaining one's authentic voice in the face of commercial pressures. The outlaw country movement that he helped pioneer was not just a musical genre, but a cultural rebellion against conformity and commercialization. Nelson's activism and advocacy work represent another crucial dimension of his legacy that extends far beyond entertainment. His commitment to farmers' rights through farm aid was born from his own rural roots and his understanding of agricultural communities' challenges. This wasn't merely celebrity activism, but reflected genuine personal investment in issues that affected people he had grown up alongside. His environmental advocacy similarly stemmed from his deep connection to the land and his recognition that artistic expression and environmental stewardship were intrinsically linked. The complexity of Nelson's personal relationships, particularly his multiple marriages, reflects the challenges faced by many artists in balancing creative pursuits with personal commitments. Each relationship relationship taught him valuable lessons about love, loss, and the importance of finding partners who could understand and support his artistic vision. His current marriage to Annie D'Angelo represents not just personal happiness, but a mature understanding of what constitutes a sustainable partnership for someone with his unique lifestyle and commitments. Nelson's continued productivity well into his 90s challenges conventional notions about aging and creativity. His refusal to slow down or compromise his artistic vision serves as an inspiration to artists of all ages, demonstrating that creativity knows no age limits when fueled by genuine passion and purpose. His recent albums have shown that experience and wisdom can enhance rather than diminish artistic expression, bringing new depths of meaning to his performances. The revelation of his thoughts about John Denver represents more than just personal reminiscence. It offers insights into how artists view and support one another across different musical styles and approaches. Nelson's appreciation for Denver's authenticity and environmental advocacy reveals his own values and demonstrates how genuine artists recognize and respect each other's contributions, regardless of superficial differences in style or presentation. The friendship between Nelson and Denver, though not widely publicized during Denver's lifetime, exemplifies the kind of mutual respect that exists among artists who prioritize integrity over commercial success. Their shared commitment to environmental and social causes created bonds that transcended musical genres, showing how art can serve as a bridge between different communities and approaches to creative expression. Nelson's reflections on what might have been potential collaborations with Denver that never materialized speak to the fragility of artistic opportunities and the importance of expressing appreciation while people are still alive to hear it. His decision to finally speak publicly about Denver after all these years suggests a recognition that honoring fellow artists is part of preserving the cultural legacy they all contribute to. The Hawaiian retreat that Nelson now calls home represents more than just a comfortable retirement location. It symbolizes his evolution from rebel outsider to elder statesman of American music. The peaceful setting allows him to maintain perspective on his long career while continuing to create and perform. This geographic choice also reflects his ongoing commitment to environmental values and his desire to live in harmony with natural surroundings. Willie Nelson's story ultimately transcends individual achievement to become a testament to the power of persistence, authenticity, and artistic integrity. His willingness to challenge industry norms, support important causes, and maintain his unique voice throughout decades of change offers valuable lessons for artists and audiences alike. His recent candor about John Denver adds another layer to this legacy, demonstrating that true artists understand the importance of acknowledging and celebrating the contributions of their peers. In an era where celebrity culture often emphasizes competition and conflict, Nelson's respectful tribute to Denver stands as a reminder of the collaborative spirit that drives the best artistic achievements. His recognition of Denver's quiet courage in maintaining authenticity despite commercial pressures reflects his own values and experiences, creating a bridge between two different but equally valid approaches to artistic expression. The timing of Nelson's revelations about Denver, coming as he approaches the end of his own remarkable career, suggests a desire to set the record straight and ensure that important stories are not lost to history. His words serve as both tribute and teaching moment, reminding us that the music industry's greatest treasures are often found not in chart positions or sales figures, but in the genuine connections and mutual respect shared among artists who understand the true value of creative expression.